Nights of Taps, Gettysburg 2020, on this eventful evening of July the 1st, 2020. It is the 157th anniversary, the first day of the three-day Battle of Gettysburg. The 100 Nights of Taps, Gettysburg, is sponsored by the Lincoln Fellowship of Pennsylvania in partnership with Taps for Veterans and the Gettysburg National Military Park. I am honored to introduce David Michel from Ashburn, Virginia, tonight's bugler. David Michel is an equestrian U.S. Civil War reenactor and bugler with over 25 years experience in the field. And he has more to add to his bio, and he will when he comes back after he sounds taps. He'd like to tell you a little bit more about himself. Really very interesting. We meet here in Gettysburg National Cemetery so that we shall never forget our brave American veterans. We remain steadfast in our dedication to the great unfinished work which those who fought here, as well as in many foreign lands, so nobly advanced. And we honor that they gave the last full measure of devotion so that this nation under God shall have a new birth of freedom, and the government of the people, by the people, for the people, shall not perish from the earth. The Lincoln Fellowship gives the buglers a commemorative coin, and we change it up every year. And this year we took a different direction with the coins. This year we've decided, and going forward, we're honoring a specific soldier that was killed here in Gettysburg during the battle. His name is, Sergeant Isaac S. Osborne from Company I, 62nd Pennsylvania Infantry. He's in row D, that's 4 rows up from this pathway. He's over almost to the very end, and his name is misspelled, so it's quite interesting. He was a brave member of the Color Guard. The storm of bullets seemed to rage more intensely around the color guard of a regiment. Sergeant Osborne was killed on the second day of the battle in the wheat field. He had 3 sons, and he wrote to them often. The youngest son, Isaac, was born after his father was killed. And interestingly, that youngest son, Isaac, when he grew up, moved to San Francisco and probably perished, they believe, in the 1906 earthquake. David, I'd like to give you our commemorative point. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you. I just made 2 announcements, and then I'll turn it over to you. 2 announcements. One, are there any veterans or active service members in our audience tonight? Please raise your hand so we can thank you for your service. Thank you. Second, we will be going on a virtual platform on July the 4th, so please check us out on Facebook and YouTube. It is just July 4th. We will return here on July 5th for the live ceremony with Yari Villanueva. So please join us here on the 5th, but please watch us on the 4th. Thank you. And now I'd like for David to tell us more about your bio.
Well, first I'd like to just comment that today, being July 1, is the day that many of us like to commemorate to General John Buford, originally from Kentucky and then raised in Illinois. He graduated from the class of 1848 at the Military Academy and was assigned as a junior lieutenant to the 1st and the 2nd Dragoon Regiments in the far west. Over time, he made quite a successful study of Dragoon and cavalry tactics. By the time he brings 2 brigades of his 3-brigade division here, the morning of July 1st, he has become what many officers, many fellow general officers comment on him being the best cavalry general in the Army. He selects the high ground west of town, the McPherson's Ridge area, sends pickets further west. One of his pickets fires the first shot of the battle here. They wage a defensive operation for a critical period of hours to hold that line until John Reynolds' 1st Corps can arrive and replace him. He's got 2 brigades on the ground. They've all dismounted except for the horse holders. That leaves him with only 75% of his 1,600 men on the ground with their carbines and 2 batteries of light artillery. And he holds off that Confederate infantry division for that critical period of time, allowing the Union Army to take the high ground and to develop the situation. So many of us that have been doing cavalry and studying cavalry for a long time, even our Confederate brethren, consider John Buford to be possibly the best cavalry officer of the entire war, both sides included. So that's why I'm dressed as a cavalry company bugler today, and we'd like to call attention to his memory. Later that fall, he became ill, probably typhus, and died in December, the day after receiving his Major General advancement in rank. So he was a great loss to the Army at that point. Anyway, about me, I grew up in Oregon. My dad was in the Wyoming National Guard 115th Cavalry Regiment in the 1920s. He was a horse cavalryman, and I did not know that until I'd been doing this hobby for 10 years. He passed on when I was still in my early 30s. So that's kind of how I got here. I fell in with a bad crowd and have had a great time with at least tolerable horses ever since then. Anyway, if you'd like to talk more about bugling or the cavalry at Gettysburg, I'd be glad to entertain questions. And I'll just kind of stay behind the chains so you can kind of keep the distance that's required. And I look forward to hearing from you.
Great. Thank you. Thank you all for being here. Thank you.